7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We got that on the air. There we go.
Excellent. Yes. Greetings. Welcome to season 4 of IFB Interfleet Broadcasting. I'm New York Pete, and this is my best friend, Chris, the Tipsy Toaster. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in to our news and pop culture sci-fi entertainment channel, IFB. Full disclosure, Chris and I grew up with 70s, 80s, TV, movies, comics, cartoons, all the best. But
90s.
we also happen to be
90s. Let's not make us look that old.
Why not?
90s and 2000s.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I live in the 70s.
You live in the
80s.
past.
I sure do, and I'm happy to. But we happen to be big Battlestar Galactica fans, and welcome to our show, guys. I see that with my magic mirror, I see
I'm telling you, I'm going to get one.
Chuck is on, Lola's on, Dave Francoeur is on.
Lola,
I see Sean Shallow from Battlestar Bulletin Board, and Kim Harms is on, and Chris Laskowski from Australia is on. And I always like to shout out and recognize everybody. I just want to very quickly also thank everyone that's watched the teaser that we put out for the Stranded Warrior to the tune of 17,000 plus hits so far, views. Thank you very much, everybody. And we'll keep you posted on the latest. And so welcome, everybody. And Chris, we have a special guest. But before we get to the special guest, and we got a good one. We have Tiny Bean Tara. So let's do our toast.
So what do you got tonight? Because I know you ran out of the special beers I gave you. So you're more than... Oh, you got that one? Oh, dang it. I have that one. Give me 1 second.
Well, then drink it.
We both get it.
Just drink it.
Just give me 1 second.
Oh my God, what is up?
Give me 1 second, because I have that one. I didn't think you had those. Give
it's
me 1
called
second.
Highlight. It's India Pale
I'll let
Ale.
Pete describes it while I go get mine out of the refrigerator, which is only a couple of feet away from me.
I want to thank our. Let's see. I have a list, guys, and I want to make sure that I thank the appropriate party for our ambrosias. So, John McCartney Crunch, thank you very much for sponsoring our drinks tonight. The Merry Game of Highlight provides inspiration for the citrus-forward India Pale Ale with notes of clementine, orange peel, and caramel malt, creating an IPA that's both bold and approachable. Okay, cool. So, I don't know, where's this from? Tipsy Toaster goes out and he buys like a whole bunch of these. And I don't know where this is from, but it looks good. Oh, Tampa. It's from Tampa, Florida. So for all of those that live in Tampa, this is close to you guys.
I forget where I got this at. I think it was...
Nah, you picked it up off the street.
The guy in the alley, something in the back.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
So I have it too. I was ready to go weird on you. This will have to go next week, so you have to look forward to this one next week, which is the En Fuego.
Oh, I don't know what the
pepper
heck that
cider.
Is, man. That's ridiculous.
Hot pepper cider. Come on, it was a cider. I gave it to you, and you let your brother-in-law drink it.
Yeah, he just went to town on it, man. And he enjoyed it. He liked it, man. Anyway,
you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Come on.
All right.
Oh, by the way, I'm drinking out of my Battlestar Galactica.
I'm breaking. Ready? I'm breaking the Battlestar Galactica and going with...
Oh, you're going with Kirk. That's a good choice.
Up.
But I have one of the original Battlestar Galactica Commander Adama glasses. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Ready? Okay. And let's rock this.
It smells like a Highlight gym socks. No, just kidding.
No. Like you've played Highlight before. You've never played Highlight.
No. I've actually seen it, though.
Yes.
I've been to Florida. Okay. Ready?
You've been to Florida. Yeah, go. I'm not pouring this over my keyboard like I usually do, so here you go.
We're a little frothy on this one.
Oh yeah, big time. Smells good.
Let's see the color.
Yes.
Not too bad.
It's good stuff. We gotta
Not
get one of these.
see-through. It's not my normal. I like it dark
it's
enough
pale.
for my
Hey, Zach
silent
Jordan's on
soul.
with us. Zach, thanks for joining us, man. Zach, we've invited you to come on board. We're gonna have John One reach out to you. Congratulations for your latest release.
Yes.
And so we're gonna have you come on and talk to you about stuff. Zach, we met up with Zach at Dragon Con, and he does Colonial Warrior and a whole bunch of other cosplay. But we're going to talk about his professional career on here with us live in the future.
All right. So hopefully you're all tuning in. Hopefully you all have a frosty beverage, whether it be alcoholic, non-alcoholic, or just imaginary. But we like to toast to the fans every week because they are the important people. They are the ones who carry on the legacy. And we also toast those who are behind the cameras as well as in front of the cameras. People who create those great universes that we love to live in our own minds. So we always say, fans fuel the fleet. So here's to you all.
Here's to you guys. Okay. There we go. All right. So
actually,
it's very good. I like it. Yeah, it's good. So,
6
all right,
hot
guys.
varieties.
Oh, Paul. Commander Kane is on with us as well. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Very good.
I hope I didn't miss anybody. I like. Oh, Scott. Scott's in the house. Of course, Lola's in the house.
Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl.
Yes. All right. We had such a good time at Dragon Con.
Scotch. There you go, Lola.
There you go. Now you're talking, having some space dust.
No.
Yeah, of course.
Space dust is pretty good. Actually,
Yeah.
Epsilon. We've actually had that beer on the air before.
Yes, we have. All right. So we have Tiny Bean.
Somewhere.
Waiting.
Hang on. You're gonna have to give me a second.
Right. So Tiny Bean is gonna come on
There
as
she
soon
is.
as we can find the proper buttons.
Oh, she's there, but I'm off. I gotta adjust her. Hang on.
Okay.
Keep talking.
We will because
adjust.
we have a great guest coming on, and he's written on Battlestar Galactica amongst other things, right? All like Space 1999, Planet of the Apes, a whole bunch of horror and stuff. And so we're gonna get into it. We had a really good conversation. But all right, Tiny Bean's on. All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna Chris is gonna put on your audio and
What? Yeah, she has audio. We're just.
I don't know. No,
Thought we could just do the
Tiny
do the
Bean's
mime
not
thing.
on. Yes, we can do the jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Jazz hands.
All right, I think you're up. Good. Hey, Tara, what's up?
How's it going, guys?
It's going. I actually have watched a whole bunch of things that some of the stuff you're going over, I am very familiar with. So.
Oh, good. Okay,
I'm still stuck with looking at that cat on that one woman's head in Star Wars. Ahsoka.
Okay, you are okay. Stop speaking, old man. You're
I don't know what that cat weird looking
God.
thing on her.
You're just All right, get over it.
Zebra cat.
Yeah, zebra cat. All right, Tiny Bean, it's all you.
All right, fantastic, guys. I will jump right in. Well, hello, IFB. Happy October. Welcome to Tiny Bean's Corner of the Universe, where we talk about new, old, and otherwise interesting things for the fleet's viewing pleasure. So let's start tonight with our previews. Check out this up-and-coming gem, soon to hit theaters and on Netflix, called The Killer. It stars Michael Fassbender, who is always good. I adored him as the android David in the Alien spin-offs Prometheus and Covenant, and here he plays, well, a killer. More specifically, a hitman. But what happens when a cold, methodical killer who waits in the shadows begins to become philosophical and maybe begins to think he might be losing his mind? Based on a graphic novel from 1998 and directed by David Fincher, and you all know I love my David Fincher. He brought us classics like Seven and Fight Club. Well, this movie premiered to good notices at the Venice Film Festival in September. It will hit theaters October 28th and then Netflix on November 10th. Check out the trailer, guys. It looks spot on Fincher, and I think it's going to be a good one. Now, next up, this trailer dropped for a very interesting looking new film, and it's coming to Netflix on December 7th. It's called Leave the World Behind, based on the best-selling book of the same name by Rumen Alam, directed by producer-director Sam Esmail, who brought us the series Homecoming back in 2018, 2019, if you remember that one. And he also was doing the series Mr. Robot, which was also a lot of fun. Now, this is a psychological end-of-the-world thriller with a great cast. It stars Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke, Mahershala Ali, and Kevin Bacon. And it takes place on Long Island.
Gotta have Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon. And it was filmed mostly on location, too, in Long Island, which I think always helps. And it's a couple on vacation near the sea suddenly open the door to a couple of strangers, and they all discover that the power has gone out locally. And then the Wi-Fi. And then, well, it looks like it starts to spiral out of control from there. Is it happening just for them, or is it happening everywhere? And what exactly is happening? Check out the trailer, guys. It looks right up our alley, and I imagine this one is going to be quite a hit with the star power behind it. Last up in previews, we've been talking a lot about Silo, and I know you guys are fans, so you are going to love this. There is a new sci-fi series coming to streaming, AMC and Spectrum, based on another Hugh Howey book called Beacon 23. It's a collection of short stories about what are essentially outer space lighthouses. Each episode looks to tell a different story, and it has a nice lineup of actors, including Lena Headey from Game of Thrones. And get this, it's already been renewed for a second season before its season started. That is always a good sign, you know? And this is going to hit on November 12th. If it's anywhere as good as the Silo, we are in for a fabulous time. I'm adding this to my queue.
It was a great audiobook, so I'm sure it will be.
Did you do the audiobook of Beacon 23?
I'm a big fan of Hugh Howey. I was hoping he was going to come on, but I got all of his audiobooks. So
that's great. I made a note to myself to mention to you that it was available on Audible.
Yep, I got them all. He was actually one of my very first audiobooks was Dust and the Silo series. Yeah, that was one of my very first ones. My very first audiobook was Pratchett.
Ooh.
I can't remember which one it was, but one of the Pratchett books.
Nice. I'm really excited for this one. I think this is going to be good. I'm really excited that they've, discovered his work now, and they're putting it to the screen. So that is good news. So anyway, guys, there's some cool new stuff to look forward to. Now it's review time. So in my spot under the radar, I found another gem that, if, like me, you might have missed. This one is a sci-fi mind bender from 2017, and it's called What Happened to Monday. It stars Noomi Rapace, also from the Alien spin-off Prometheus, but Noomi Rapace, as you may have never seen her before, because here she plays 7 different characters. It also features Willem Dafoe and Glenn Close. Now, as many sci-fi films start, it's set in a scary future world, but that's where the similarities kind of stop. This becomes some truly original stuff, and that is so rare. In this future, due to catastrophic environmental concerns, governments decree that families are only allowed to have one child. If they have more, they are taken away for safety and put into cryo-sleep center for 30 years. When Willem Dafoe's daughter dies giving birth to septuplets daughters, he has other ideas. He names them all after the days of the week, and he keeps them hidden from the world. I don't want to say too much more, because this movie kind of unfolds like a puzzle, and you need to make these discoveries as you go. But I can tell you, it will go places that you never imagined. There are some truly off-the-hook action sequences, Rapace really excels with her stunt work, and she effectively brings to life 7 different characters, 7 sisters here. It's a great and surprising ending. It was a lot of fun. I watched it twice, so that says something.
Wow.
Check this one out. Yeah, I mean, when you watch something, you're like, wow, that's really good, and then a few days later, you go, I think I missed some. Let me go dive in again. I watched it again, and I was like, ooh, this is very, very interesting and unique. So it's available on Netflix right now, and I think it's worth your time. So let me know what you think, guys. And now for something completely new. Anyone check out No One Will Save You on Hulu? Boy, was that fun.
Huh.
A genre blending. You're gonna like this one, Chris. I think it is a genre blend of sci-fi and horror that, not unlike What Happens on Monday, is truly unique. Stephen King sang its praises, saying it's one of the best sci-fis of the last few years and reminiscent of vintage Twilight Zone. And you all know me and how I love my Twilight Zone. So this was written and directed by an up-and-coming young man named Ryan Duffield. This one follows a young lady from the outskirts of a small town who appears to be a bit of a shunned outcast. One night in her old farmhouse, some strange stuff starts happening, and before we know it, our protagonist is waging a one-woman war on some alien beings who have invaded her home. This one really takes off quickly, and there are definitely some frantic, nail-biting moments throughout, but it is also surprisingly moving, and not unlike the other film, goes places where you don't think it's going to. It's well shot, well constructed, and will quickly put you in mind in some ways of the movie A Quiet Place. You'll see. It's also basically a one-person film. Of 99% of the film revolves around our protagonist, and she's played by a young actress named Caitlin Dever. And let me tell you, she is good. We will definitely be seeing more of this lady if we're lucky. This was a challenging role, and she handled it like a champ. I mean, the entire role, the entire film hinges on her. So check this one out, Fleet. I think it's right up your alley. And that is all for the corner this week. So back to you, Pete.
Oh, I saw that the movie, Where's Monday?
Yeah, What Happened on
right?
Monday? Yeah.
Monday. I saw it. I saw it when it pretty much when it first came out, and I was like, "Whoa, it was pretty good." I was
Right?
impressed. Yeah.
I like William Dafoe, but I think what was his best one? I loved it was
He's done so much stuff.
Oh yeah, yes.
It's
so
worth
much.
watching. It's good sci-fi. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. It's really, I mean, I don't know what I went in expecting, but I didn't expect it to be what it became, and I was really, really enthralled with it. Willem Dafoe, if I say he does have it's a small role, but any role he does is going to be good.
Of course.
I think I remember the one I like him in the most was Boondock Saints.
Okay.
It was just such a strange role. That one, and of course Spider-Man when he played the Goblin.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great in that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Karen, hi everyone. Here's to you. And Mike DeBrune says "Tiny Bean!" exclamation point. And
awesome.
We got a whole bunch of our band is here. Our community is here. George Giacomis and of course Mike DeBrune, which I mentioned. Dorian Keyes is on, award-winning sci-fi author. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Robert Baum is on, of course.
Hi, Rob.
So thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. So, Tiny Bean, we look forward to having you again. Flying back. I don't know, whenever you're free again, either in 2 weeks or whenever. We'll work it out. And we need to get you to sign some of those cards.
Yep.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I had one here a second.
Yes.
Yeah, we got so good.
We made one of the promo cards that we made for the Stranded Warrior is your character, and there's a little backstory to your character that we put in on the card. And I just hope that you enjoyed the card itself. I don't know if you got
Love
to
it.
show them off or not, but you found it,
Oh,
Chris?
yeah.
No, I haven't found them there.
All right, I
Go
got
to
it.
there, and I can
Oh
disconnect
no.
and go get
Okay.
them if
Yeah.
you
All
need
right.
me to.
Well, we'll make sure we put them up next time. We'll show them off again to everybody. We're so proud of everyone that participated, and thank you very much, Tiny Bean, for everything. All right. Yeah, we
Thanks,
appreciate your work.
guys. Oh, fantastic. Have a great night. I'll be watching. I am so excited for your next guest. I am a fan.
Thank
So
you.
I'll be,
Thank you.
I'll be
Thank you.
watching.
Here's to you. Thanks, Sarah.
Take care,
Thanks,
Tara.
guys. Enjoy.
All right. So we,
Hmm.
we, John One, our production coordinator, reached out and we have a really, really cool guest. Someone that both Tipsy Toaster and I are actually very familiar with. And we've actually mentioned his work on IFB before because he's the author of specifically just one. I'm just picking one that I know is going to resonate a little bit here. Is an analytical guide to Battlestar Galactica, 1998, and Chris and I, you and I, we've talked about this book and we've referenced it, and so we have with us Professor John Kenneth Muir is here with us, and we're honored to have him. And we're going to talk about a bunch of things. We were able to, kind of have a little bit of a chat before the stream went live. And John, welcome to IFB.
Thank you. I appreciate so much inviting me to be here. I'm really enjoying it. I want to see those movies now.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The bad
Cool.
thing is you watch that and you're like, I really need to watch. Oh, I don't have Hulu. Oh, dang it. Now I got, that's our heat. I got sucked into getting Apple TV over that. So for Silo.
Well, I do have Hulu, so I am dying to see that alien abduction movie.
Yes.
I've heard good things about it, and this has reaffirmed that. So, yeah, that's exciting.
John, you're to many of the fans, you're well known for the fact that you've written so many books about the genre that we, love, whether it be Space 1999. There was one of the titles, Exploring Space 1999, A Critical History of Doctor Who, History Critical Analysis of Blake 7, One Step Beyond. There's a Planet of the Apes book that I happen to own and I've read as well that you've done. Encyclopedia of Superheroes on Film and Television, horror films of the 70s, terror television. Let's see, Airlock, Alpha, Best Web Production, The House Between. You've done, so
Right.
you've accumulated a bunch of awards. You write, and I'm not doing you justice, but a lot of the fans already know you've done. I mean, there's X-Files stuff. It's called the X-Files, frequently asked question book. That's a more recent 2015 publication. But all of these, to the best of my knowledge, you'll correct me, are in publication. They're still available. They're out there, and it's great
That's
to
right.
have you here. I wanted you to give us your thumbnail sketch of your pitch. Tell us about yourself, and then we're gonna go back and forth some questions. But so John, welcome. But give us a little bit of your background.
Well, thank you so much. That was a beautiful introduction. So I'm somebody who I feel like a lot of your audience and you, I'm somebody who grew up with science fiction television and film, particularly in the 70s. I was very enamored at a young age with Space 1999, Logan's
Woohoo!
Run,
Yes.
the fantastic Journey, Space 1999. I said there, Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers. I mean, as far into the 80s as things like V and Otherworld.
Yes.
Oh,
I would sort of eat, sleep, breathe these science fiction adventures, and I loved them so much. And as I grew older, I went to college and things like that. I became interested in film, and I learned sort of the basic tenets of film criticism. But I thought, well, wouldn't it be interesting? Now, this was a long time ago. This was, in the early 90s. I said, wouldn't it be interesting if I applied those film criticisms to these things that I love, like Galactica or 1999 or Blake Seven or Doctor Who, what have you, because at the time nobody was taking these things seriously. They were not taken as works of art. They were considered, juvenilia, whatever. So I thought, well, I'm going to have a different approach. And really, one of the things that spurred me in that, and I'll never forget this, I don't think I've ever told this story, but I was in a bookstore once and I picked up a book about science fiction television. I was leafing through it and I was so excited. And, I'm leafing through it and it's saying how wonderful the Twilight Zone is. And I agree, the Twilight Zone is wonderful. It's saying how great the Outer Limits is. I agree, it's wonderful. Wonderful praise for Star Trek. I agree. And then a chapter at the end called Science Fiction Failures.
Oh,
And what
no.
do they
Uh-oh.
put there? Space
Oh, they didn't.
1999 and Battlestar Galactica. Yeah.
No,
And so
what's
I said,
the matter with them?
yeah, exactly. And I got kind of angry because I thought, well, failure by what standard?
Right.
How are you weighing this? Simply because it wasn't renewed? I mean, Battlestar Galactica was the highest rated science fiction series before the X-Files in the 90s. So it wasn't a failure. I mean, it was expensive. That was the problem, right? It wasn't that it failed. It had a pretty high ratings, actually. Space 1999, a brilliant series. So I remember reading that and thought, well, I'm not a lawyer, but if I could be a lawyer, I would write a response to this and a legal sort of defense, a film criticism defense, if you will, for the shows I love: Battlestar Galactica, Space 1999, all the ones we talked about. And I've written a number of those, including books about One Step Beyond, the X-Files, and such. But what I found was I was very fortunate in that I was one of the early practitioners to do this. A lot of people do this today, and they do it very well. But I was one of the earliest, I think, people to do this. And I sort of rose at the same time the internet rose. So it's like in a previous decade, my Space 1999 book would have gone nowhere. But in the age of the internet, suddenly people found it. Websites found it. They talked about it, things like that. And suddenly, boom, I had a writing career. And that writing career has served me so well since my first book came out in 1997 when I was 20 something. So
Nice.
a long time ago.
21. That's it.
Oh, that is so cool. I mean, and you've gotten to do some really cool work. You've handled a lot of this stuff, meaning, our beloved sci-fi so well because you're a fan. And it makes a difference when you're a fan versus just, an outsider or someone that just is doing this for, whatever it may be. It could be academic, but not as a fan. So it gives it a different twist, and we really appreciate that. A fan can tell who's a fan, whether you're critiquing or not. I mean, positive or negative criticism, whatever it may be, but a fan is still a fan. So we really enjoy that kind of thing. And I mean, it's just so cool that, someone can turn the passion that we have for, the love of the genres, the love of the shows, and turn that into something bigger and greater, and in some form, give back. That means a lot as well. So I just think that that's fascinating. And John, we actually went back and forth a little bit prior to the show, and we definitely want to bring up some other topics when you're ready. We definitely want to talk a little bit more about your academic background and what it's like to teach some of these things that that for us, we lived it. We know what it's about. We love these shows, and sometimes those that have come after us, the next generations may not be as familiar. So I hopefully we can get you to delve into that a little bit. And we had said using the currency of old shows was something that you had mentioned, and so I want to explore that with you. Also want to talk about some of your work in terms of series. There's a radio sci-fi series that you're involved with that's your own. There's the journey. There's a journey of following your passion, and that's something else, as well as maybe books and publishing. Hopefully, we can get you to elaborate a little bit more on that, and then ultimately, you had mentioned, well, we kind of discussed this a little bit about conventions, John. So we kind of more or less outlined the the agenda, and feel free to jump in whenever you're ready. And I believe, Chris, you're scrolling through some
Yep,
of
he's got a
the work.
huge, great blog. I love Manimal, so he had mentioned had a thing on Manimal in there, and I love it.
Oh yeah, there's a ton. I mean, fortunately for us, he is. Look at this. He's done so much. It's just incredible. So yeah, we're gonna delve into this, and we'll talk about conventions as well. I know that prior to coming on, John had mentioned that he is going to make a convention appearance, which he hasn't done in a while, but he is going to start that up. So I'll
Did
let
we
him
lose
get
him?
into details.
You're still there?
And I'm not sure. I
Check.
would, yeah. So I think
He
is
dropped.
he dropped him. Yeah. Well, he's gonna, yeah, he's gonna tell us about the con that he has booked. He's gonna have a table there. He mentioned, so he'll be doing that, and that's gonna be cool. And yeah, and Glenn Larson, father creator, absolutely, absolutely. That's from Paul. Rob Baum. Does you guys know of late 1960s series from the UK called Journey into the Unknown? It was Hammer's answer to
I bet you he
Twilight
does.
Zone.
Maybe
I bet you he does. We will definitely bring it up as soon as he comes back on. And yeah, I mean, so just a really, really cool.
I'll see Journey to the
Yes,
Unknown. Oh, damn.
there is. Mark Altman. Mark Altman is another. Yep, he's out there. He's a prolific writer. I've met and spoken to Mark Altman, Rob, on several occasions. I actually have taken two of his writing courses that he had given. They're like more of master classes that he gave during two of New York Comic Con events, two separate events. And I've met him and spoken to him. Met
Get
him
contact with
first
him
time.
because we definitely have lost him.
Okay, so I met Altman like 25, actually 30 years ago at a small convention. Got to talk to him, know him a little bit when he was first starting out. He was actually a journalist. He was wrote for Starlog, as a matter of fact, Rob, which you probably already know that. So Mark Altman, you know what? Come to think of that, it might be a good idea. Maybe we can try to get Mark Altman on. He wrote a couple of great books as well. One Star Trek, one Battlestar Galactica, and so yeah.
There he is.
Oh, we got
Hey,
okay. All right,
Lost
John.
you.
Thanks for coming back. I
got
outlined.
booted.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm glad you're back. So I kind of outlined a little bit of what you and I had discussed previous to going on air, and I kind of mentioned the fact that as you are an academic now, a published academic, you've written all these books, and you're a fan. There is some currency in old shows because we discussed briefly what it's like to maybe teach the younger crowd. So would you mind elaborating on that?
Oh, right. I love it turns out it's a great passion for me, in no small part because I have a captive audience. I get to teach in an auditorium with something like 150 seats, and
Wow.
I get to have these great conversations with intelligent students who have their own interests. I've got a lot of anime fans, for instance, in my classes, but I get to teach things. I've taught film before. I got to teach a class on the horror film. I got to teach geek studies. So we studied the history of the of LARPing, and we had the student, yeah, the students made their own LARP, and we voted on which was the best one, and then we played it. So we talked about things like
I
being
want
a
to go back to
prosumer,
college now.
yeah, that's right. You're not only consuming material, but also creating, as you all are doing right here, and as I do with my series Enter the House Between. Not only consume entertainment like Battlestar Galactica, but we're also creators, and so that's just a great thing. Just today in my public speaking class that I teach, I demonstrated a speech for the students, and it was about Godzilla. So I have a
Nice.
lot of fun planning 18th event in my school, and at another school I'll be hosting a showing Halloween. It's really another really great avenue to explore this passion for science fiction and horror. And it is interesting because all my students now are my son's age. They're 16, 17 years old. And so they weren't alive when the Blair Witch Project came out. They were not yet born, when the Matrix movies came out. They were not alive when, sadly, 9/11 occurred. So, all of these things, you have to be very careful with what references you use, or at the very least, you have to explain your references for the younger audience. I mean, some of them are very knowledgeable. I have a student in one of my classes who comes in with a book bag decorated with horror film pins, like pins of Ghostface or what have you, and she's a great student. She knows horror, so yeah. So it's just great having that opportunity to share these things. I remember in my film class, I got to share, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Psycho. The students love Psycho. It's like the first time I ever actually saw Psycho work, because everyone my age knows the twist of Psycho. But this was an audience, they don't even know who Alfred Hitchcock is. So
Oh my gosh.
Oh God.
Right, right. They watch Psycho for the first time, and man, it works on them like gangbusters. To me, it's like great evidence of what a fantastic movie it is, even though it was made in 1960. Because people who've never seen it before, they watch it and they are blown away by the ending. So yeah. So I love my teaching career, and I'm glad to have that sort of branch to explore that side of what I do.
John, quick question. One of our unofficial fact checker, Robert Baum, he wants to know if are you familiar with a late 1960s series from the UK called Journey into the Unknown?
Now, I believe that was an anthology. I hope I'm
Oh,
not wrong. I think it was an anthology horror series. I think. I am not very familiar with it. I recognize the title, but I can't claim any great familiarity with it. I'm sorry. I don't mean
um,
to disappoint you.
it was a Hammer's answer to Twilight Zone.
Okay,
Um, so
so it was an
yeah,
anthology.
cool.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So yeah,
I would love to
he's
see episodes.
yeah, no kidding. Some of these things are hard to find, if at all. But luckily, most of what we like is still out there. John, tell us a little bit about the journey and following one's passion.
Right. So I think that's incredibly important, and I think that it doesn't matter when you get there. What matters is the steps that you take to get there. And, I tell my class all the time, I say, look, I'm a 53-year-old man with white hair, as you can see from that picture, and I'm going bald. But, I've had a successful writing career. I had a midlife sort of career change going into teaching and the opportunities I have there. And I'd like to consider myself still at midlife at this age. And now I'm having something else happen as well, is that I'm working with this incredibly talented and creative band of actors and producers and a sound editor to create my own story that's sort of the summation of all my love for science fiction, television, and film. And that's this audio drama, this full cast science fiction audio drama, Enter the House Between. And we've
Ooh.
had 8 episodes. Yeah, we've had 8 episodes air so far. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, Audible. What am I missing? I'm sure there are other, but anywhere where you can get an audio drama, you can get Enter the House Between. And it's a science fiction story from the man who was once the little boy who loved the space horror of Space 1999 and the camaraderie of Battlestar Galactica and things like that. So again, so for me to have this now and a teaching career, have that writing career, it is all about following your path, following that journey. And like I said, it doesn't matter when you get there. What matters is that you pursue it and you get there. And it's not always going to be a straight line, and it's not always going to be maybe how you envisioned it, but I'm having a great time. That's all I'll say. And I would encourage other people to do the same thing. It doesn't have to be your full-time job to make films. It doesn't have to be your full-time job to create an audio drama or teach or anything. You can do lots of things. Pursue your passion. Do what you love, because, not to be a downer, life is too short. So enjoy it.
Yep.
Do what you love. Be
That's
passionate about it.
That's what we're kind of how we ended up here. We do what we love.
That's it. That is the ticket.
And
that's just a very powerful thing.
Yeah, and just to like coattail that a little bit, John, we and again, going back to a little bit of Battlestar Galactica, we decided that Chris and I decided that we're going to try to give back a little bit of the passion to the fans, ourselves and the fans and the franchise. And we dived into creating a fan film, and we released a sizzle reel for it. And so a teaser, and we're working hard to put together. It's going to be a short. It'll be under 30 minutes. We got a SAG waiver. This was right before the strike, so we were able to shoot it in 2 days.
Hey, Pete, I have it if you want to play it.
And John, would you mind watching with us?
I would love to see it. I was just going to say, how do I see this? Let me see it. I want to see it.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Here we go.
Yeah, we'll put it right up.
There are those who believe the Cylon War is lost, that man cannot survive. Then there are the warriors.
At ease, warriors.
Men and women fighting for millennia.
We are Police of the Fleet!
Warriors living with violence and death.
We are pretending to be the insectoids caught in the Crawlin's web.
You snit rat. What the frack is going on?
Now, fight to survive all across the heavens.
Hey. All right. When's that coming out? I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. Yeah. Hopefully
Hopefully December.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully towards the end of December we'll have it completely done. But John, we also are not only are we fans of your stuff, right? But collectively fans of Battlestar Galactica. And like I was saying, we this is our way of giving back a little bit, trying to show, that putting our foot into the ring, so to speak. There's plenty of Star Trek and Star Wars fan films out there, and they're done with sometimes huge budgets. And we figured,
Yes.
we have this passion for Galactica, and so we just decided to do this. And I know that we do a lot of the conventions. We debuted the teaser at Dragon Con, but you also do conventions. So you've done them in the past, but you're going to be doing something coming up. What convention are you doing?
That's right. So I'm going to be at Monsterama in Atlanta and that's going to be October 27th to 29th. I'm going to have a table there and hopefully get to talk a lot about my books, but also my audio drama, Enter the House Between. And what really excites me about that is that I'm going to have some of my cast members there and my sound designer there. So the actors who play Astrid and Teresa, Kim Breeding Mercer and Alicia Martin, are going to be there. And I'll be selling some of my Enter the House Between novellas, which, you know, they can sign for fans, things like that. And my incredible sound designer who creates these worlds on Enter the House Between from whole cloth, and it's amazing to listen to. Tony Mercer, he will be there too. And I think if we're lucky, we're going to get to be on some kind of panel about audio drama. And I really look forward to hearing Tony share about what he's learned, what he knows, tricks of the trade, because it's really amazing what you can do in an audio drama format. And I wouldn't have the slightest idea how to edit it, how to put it together. I write all the episodes, but Tony, he is just an amazing collaborator. And actually, I mean, that goes for all the people on the show. So I can't wait to get down to Atlanta, October 27th to 29th to, it's called Monsterama, or it might be called Sinbad and the Eye of Monsterama. I can't remember, but there are a lot of great guests.
I'll look it up.
I'll be selling some books, meeting the fans, super excited about it. And I'm hoping to make this a more regular thing where I get out to conventions a little bit more and get to talk. I used to really love doing that, but then of course I had a son. We had a little kid. He'll be going off to college in a couple of years. Maybe I'll have a little more time in my life. I'll miss him terrible, but I'll get away from the empty nest, I guess. But there it is. There's Sinbad and the Eye of Monsterama. That's it.
Wow.
So if you go all the way down on that website, you see Nicholas Meyer is going to be there.
Nice.
Patrick Wayne is going to be there. Alan Howarth. I think I'm sort of at the bottom. Yeah, a lot of impressive folks are going to be there. I imagine I will probably try to get some autographs from some of these folks. But so there I am. That's when
you are.
That's when I had a little more hair. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Some of my books and some of my hair from when I had hair.
Awesome. Oh, so cool.
So, yeah, I am very excited about it. I cannot wait to be there and to get to meet folks and, talk about everything that I'm doing and also find out what other people are doing and what their interest is and things like that. So it's going to be a great time, but I'm super excited that I won't be there alone, that I'll have those my compatriots on Enter the House Between with me. My wife, of course, will be there, and she's a producer on the show, so that'll be great too.
Carolyn Monroe is going to be there. Awesome.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
I might have to. Now, she's done an audio drama, I think, recently, and I'm thinking if I can grab her and ask her if she wants to be in Enter the House Between. Right?
Oh,
hey,
wow.
Can't hurt,
yeah.
right?
That's right.
Boy.
Absolutely.
That would be something.
Yeah.
You have.
But I mean, I would like to get to Dragon Con.
Dragon Con's amazing.
Dragon Con, there's a really big chiller convention in New Jersey, and it is gigantic. It's been going on for many, many years. This year will be the first time that I get to go. It's simultaneously with the one you're doing now. However, chiller convention. If you ever get a chance, you look up their list of guests. They always have a tremendous number of guests. But this year, they're going to have someone that we're going to actually go to meet, talk to, get an autograph from. And he's one of the supporting characters in Battlestar Galactica. He was also in Magnum PI. And those of you that know who he is, you can chime in. Not putting you on the spot, John, but he's older, and we.
Is this the one?
That's it. We're looking forward to meeting
Chiller
him.
Theater.
Yeah, Chiller Theater convention. Yeah, and but John, you have a greeting from Baz, who's in Australia. He's actually building, I believe it's the Mark II, finishing up a Mark II Viper in his garage. And he
God.
Oh, yeah. So, would you guys ever come to a Comic-Con in Australia? I would.
Hell yeah.
I don't know, but John,
I'll be there in a heartbeat.
Oh, my God, it'd be so cool.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Jersey boy, so I'd probably rather go to Australia than New Jersey. No, I mean, I live in New Jersey.
New
Oh
Jersey,
yeah, that's right.
Australia, same thing.
Mike
No,
DeBrune,
not at
that's
all.
right. Larry Minetti, very good, Mike. Yep, Larry Minetti. He's going to be at the convention. We're going to actually
Oh,
go
that's awesome.
beeline. Oh yeah, so myself and John One and Professor Eric Patton is going to meet up with us as well. So we're going to go out there. And oh, you know what, John, did you ever dabble in fan fiction, whether writing or reading any of it back in the day?
Well, I did write a lot of fan fiction when I was young, and then,
Really?
Ooh.
at one point, yes, and at one point you said, "Did you, are all your books in print?" And sadly, I did get to write two, you know, official licensed Space 1999 books. In
Oh.
2003, it was Space 1999: The Forsaken, and then in 2014, I wrote Space 1999: The Whispering Sea. Now the license just changed hands, unfortunately, lately, so I doubt I'll get to write another Space 1999 book. But again, my career, I look at it and say, listen, I'm not a millionaire, but boy, if I had fun. I've gotten to write my own Space 1999 stories and had them considered official. So yeah, so I mean,
Oh
I love
boy.
that, and
That is
so
so cool.
oh, it is, and now I mean, I get to write all the stories for Enter the House Between, so I love doing that. I get to practice writing in audio drama format as opposed to a novel, right? So
Oh
that's a lot
yeah.
of fun for me
Wow.
too. Yeah, yeah,
That's
I love doing
incredible.
that. You do get to the age I think that I'm at. Your mid 50s, right? And it's like, oh man, yeah, I really do. I want to explore sort of my own horizons. Or, you know what I mean? And so like getting to write those fiction things, even though I'm kind of known for nonfiction, has just really been great for me. I've really enjoyed doing that. Getting to write those Space 1999 novels, getting to write novels of Enter the House Between, which are being published by Powys Media. The first two are out right now. The first two books of Enter the House Between, and then we do anywhere between 7 and 11 episodes a year that we record. Our first season is finishing up, but we've already recorded our second season. So I mean, I'm just as happy as could be. I love all
Wow.
of this. And like I said,
Wow.
I see it as being the summation of everything I did as a kid. When people say what originally inspired you, it's like stories on the Twilight Zone, stories on Space 1999. Outer Limits episode, like The Guests, that one obsessed me. It's about like the people trapped in the house and there's a weird brain upstairs. I love that episode. Things like Battlestar Galactica, the camaraderie in Battlestar Galactica, and also the tragedy of it. I mean, I think the reason I would say
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica is not a failure. There are a lot of reasons for it, but the episodes where you lose Serena and you just feel for that family, uh, the friendship and camaraderie between the warriors, the characters. I mean, yeah, it didn't last a long time, but I don't know how you can judge those aspects of the story. Of the production a failure. So I know I'm hinging on that whole failure thing. It upset me just to remember them
Yeah.
saying that that book
Well,
about
well, tell us about
Space
the
99.
analytical guide.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so my first book was about Space 1999, and I was very fortunate that I wrote a couple chapters, and I thought, well, my wife said, "Are you going to do anything with that?" Because like I had gone around and spent a lot of money because this was the '90s to get all the laser discs of Space 1999,
Ah,
and each
my
one was
God,
like four
laser discs.
four. Right, each one was like $40-$50 with 2 episodes on it, and there were 48 episodes. You can do the math. She's like, "Are you ever going to do anything with that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm writing a book." Right? Okay. So I wrote a couple chapters, and I sent it out to 5 publishers, and I think within a week, McFarlane came back and said, "We want it." They didn't want to do my title, which makes me sad, which was originally it was going to be like Attention All Sections Alpha, like a history of Space 1999. But I figured not enough people knew that. That was kind of a catchphrase from the show. Whenever Commander Koenig would, sort of get on the intercom to everybody on the moon base, he'd say, "Attention All Sections Alpha." So anyway, that's what I wanted to call it. I didn't get that, but McFarlane did a great job with the book. It came out. I think because of the rise of the internet, it's not because I'm any great genius. It sold really, really well. I mean, in fact, it's still selling well, and I haven't updated it since 1997, right?
Wow.
So they said, we want your next 3 books. And I said, oh boy, okay, I want to do Battlestar Galactica, I want to do Doctor Who, and I want to do Wes Craven because I want to talk about my love of horror. And so I very quickly wrote those, and that was what my year, I think 1997, 1998 was, writing those 3 books. And like, I've just never looked back. And
Wow.
Battlestar Galactica, for me, what nobody gives it credit for was that it really tried, and I say enough of this in the book, it really tried to have its own lexicon and language and give you the sense that it wasn't, it was consistent, that they're not from here, they're not from Earth, or that it's mythologically based. So again, I thought that was a really novel thing for Battlestar Galactica to do and to attempt, to have that kind of lexicon where you're talking about, microns and centons and crawlons. I heard
And
that in
frack.
the trailer. Yes, and frack and Felgercarb. Right. That's really cool. That's really nice that they tried to do that. To me, that's not speaking down to an audience. That's asking your audience to sort of keep up and take on this lexicon. So that book, it was a success. I'll never forget being at the main mission convention, which was for both Space 1999 and Battlestar Galactica in the year 2000 in Manhattan. And I was, I hope this is okay to say, I was in the bathroom at a urinal, in a restroom in the hotel at the convention. And who comes up to the urinal beside me? It's Richard Hatch. And he says, "You're the guy who wrote that Battlestar Galactica book." And he starts talking to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm using the bathroom, Mr. Hatch. But it was so lovely. He started talking to me. I loved that book. I was reading it on the plane when I got it. And so he's just struck up this conversation with me, at the urinal. And so, we finish our business, our individual business, and, we go wash our hands and we come out of the bathroom, and he invites me to go out to dinner with him that night and other fans as well. And my wife and I, we go out to dinner with him, and I can't remember if it was walking back from the restaurant or walking to the restaurant, but Richard Hatch was the most exuberant, enthusiastic person, doing all of these huge gestures, these big gestures, and he's like walking out into the street. He's telling stories with his hands. He's bouncing up and down, and he doesn't see a taxi cab coming straight at him as he goes into the street. And my wife pulled him out of the street. I said, "You just saved Richard Hatch, Catherine." So that, and so it was nice. Richard Hatch and I, we talked, quite a bit over the years, but I was always pleased that he liked the book, and he liked the book enough to approach me at a urinal and tell me he liked the book.
Oh yeah. So Mediocre Modeler, thank you for joining us, Kelvin. You made it the big time when people start recognizing you at the urinal. Absolutely. And we have a question for you. What is your favorite Battlestar episode?
Ooh, that is such a tough question. So, there are a couple I really, really like. I think that War of the Gods is so strong. Count Ibley is such a different kind of villain, from the Cylons. I mean, and he's terrifying. And I think what was so clever about how terrifying he was like, he literally brought Baltar to his knees, right? And then when he visits Baltar on the prison barge, oh my gosh, he's really scary. Devilish, great, very sinister kind of character. And that was perfect for Battlestar Galactica, to do that sort of dark versus light, angels versus devils. So I love that. No surprise. I know everybody loves The Living Legend, but The Living Legend is fantastic. It is.
Oh, yeah.
You don't like The Living Legend? Oh, okay.
No,
love it. Love it.
No.
Love it.
Okay.
Kane was killed.
No.
Come on, people, get over it.
Love it. Let it go.
He didn't
Let the
survive.
Cylon. All right, come on.
So I'm just going to say this. For me, it's not about Commander Kane. It's about what Battlestar Galactica in its greatest iteration could be. And I think I said this in the book. It was like about the lives and loves of these warriors. It was like from here to eternity.
Yeah, you
space.
get a background.
Yes. To me, that was never more vivid, never more sort of immersive,
I think it was that episode
than there.
and the Murder on the Rising Star was kind of a nice
that's another
behind the
good one.
scenes
Oh yeah.
what it was like to
Right.
live on the Galactica, or live in that in the time frame, or in that universe. Being
And I loved the last episode, Hand of God. I
Yes.
love that they
Oh, yeah.
they turned around, they stood their ground, and they fought and they pushed through. Thought that was so great. I loved it. And that, of course, they made the deal with Baltar. I don't know what it is, but I always like these sort of morally. With Baltar, it's more than ambiguous, since he pretty much eliminated the human race. But these
Yeah.
morally fallen
Good job,
characters,
Baltar.
yet who also have some. There's always a hint of redemption for them too. I like that he still had some aspect, like in the cosmic scheme of evil compared to Count Iblis. He had some ability to be redeemed, and he helped the Colonials take down the base star. So I really like that. I would have loved to see
love to see him stranded on a planet somewhere and get back.
Yeah, and see what he was up to. Yeah, exactly, and see what he would have done. I thought he was an interesting character. So I love those 3 episodes. I'm sure there are others. I mean, I love The Man with 9 Lives.
Yep.
I said it in my book, and I've taken so much guff about it, but I mean, it's clear that the idea of the Borrelian Gnomon came from. I mean, that idea was then taken by Star Trek for the redo of the Klingons. I mean, it's absolutely clear.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it. You look at what Klingons were before Battlestar Galactica, right? Swarthy guys in gold lame sashes, right? And then look at what they were after Battlestar Galactica. They had the same, exaggerated foreheads, the same sort of, the hairy brows, the obsession with,
I have to look
ritual,
it up, but I wonder
right?
if the cosmetic person was the same one.
I don't know, but I mean, I do think it's true, and I love Star Trek, so I'm not picking on it, but I think it's fair to say, when something like that occurs, that there was something between them, right? There was something between the original series Klingons and then the new motion picture Klingons, and what was that thing? It was Battlestar Galactica. So there you go.
That's right.
But anyway. Yeah. So anyway, that's just.
I love it.
So I
love it.
And I love Fred Astaire. Oh my gosh, how could you not love having Fred Astaire?
Oh yeah.
Again, playing one of these morally ambiguous characters, kind of seeking his own redemption. And is he Starbuck's father, or is he not Starbuck's father? That's great. That's great stuff. Terrific episode. So I'd say those are my top ones.
John, how did you manage to get the interviews and the background information for the book? It must have been, I mean, the internet wasn't going on. So.
Well, and, in all honesty, I know it's probably been a while since you looked. I mean, the book's from 1998. There weren't a lot of interviews. I had to go to, I went to fan clubs. And said, can you help me get, to Jonathan Harris? Can you help me get to there? And some people would help, and I'd get through, and people wouldn't get back to me. Some people wouldn't help. So that's another reason why I took the sort of, when I say critical, I mean like film appreciation, film criticism approach in these books, is that I was just a guy working in North Carolina. I don't have access to anybody. Like I said, I didn't have any I didn't have any leverage. It's who you know, not what you know. I determined I was going to, get these books made and done, even though I didn't know anybody who made these things. And like, I remember, I think when I got to Jonathan Harris, and again, I was like 20 something years old. He wanted like $500 for the interview or something. I was like, oh man,
wow.
like I would love to do it, but that's more than the budget of my whole book. You know what I mean? I just didn't have that in my 20s to do in the 90s, So I was like, yeah. So I thought, that's okay. It's not going to be a weakness. My big philosophy in art and in criticism is turn what might be a weakness into a strength. So I said, I'm going to watch the hell out of these episodes. I'm going to analyze them. I'm going to come up with theories about them. And that's what my book is going to be about, because I don't have the ability to do that. Now, when my career developed about a decade later, so say 2004, I'm writing a book about Sam Raimi. And now I do interview people. I got to interview Cliff Robertson and Willem Dafoe and Gary Cole. Like suddenly I had that clout and people would take my calls. But no one took my calls in the early days. So Catherine Schell, who played Maya on Space 1999, she very graciously took my call. So I got to interview her for the Space 1999 book. But I
Wow.
don't think I was successful with anyone on Battlestar Galactica, and it wasn't for want of trying.
Right.
But again, it was before the internet. I had to go through channels. So I mean, we're talking snail mail, things like that, trying to get people on the phone. And it was a tough haul. So I just kind of made that decision. I'm doing this book the way I want. And if it doesn't have interviews, it's still going to be a great book. And then I was so happy when Richard Hatch came to me at the urinal and said, "I loved your book."
That is so cool.
Yeah, he would have interviewed. He would have done an interview if he would have.
Oh yeah,
got a hold of him.
I'm sure he would have. He was a great guy. And I mean, and I'm not picking on anybody. I'm not.
No.
Complaining. I know how it is. I mean, they probably get calls for interviews every dang day. And I didn't have a name. Who am I? Some kid from North Carolina wants to interview because he says he's writing a book about this, right? Yeah. I mean, what does that sound like, right?
Sounds like school newspaper. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Absolutely.
See, but John, that little bit that you gave us, that insight, the look into what it took to do what you had to do and turn it around is gold. And we have a lot of writers that are fans of IFB, and not to mention authors themselves, but a lot of people that follow us, enjoy the art of, and so it's important to hear these things, these trials and trial and errors that you go through, because it's not always as easy as, like you said, picking up the phone or having a budget. But what I found interesting that you did mention was, you went to the fan clubs and you tried to use, whatever assets you could, which I thought was just very fascinating. I like that. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
John, all right. So before we let you go, I'd like to know, you have a blog, you have a website, but your material is available on Amazon. Is there anywhere else?
Right. So the new Enter the House Between books, the first two novellas, they're out right now, and they're out on Barnes and Noble, and you can get them as physical copies. They're at Barnes and Noble. The Enter the House Between is free, I think, wherever I guess you have to have a subscription, but it's on Spotify, it's on Audible, it's on Apple Music. I also have the YouTube channel where we put up the episodes we call it a podcast, but it's a drama. It's a full cast audio drama. So you can find it there. My writing on my blog, it's Reflections on Film and Television at blogspot.com. I've been doing it since 2005. I have over 11,000 posts, which is just crazy to me.
Wow.
But I cover cult TV series. I cover toys from the 70s and 80s because I'm a great toy collector from that era. My latest books, horror films 2000 to 2009, they're available on Amazon. Of course, all my books, except I think the two new Enter the House Between books, are available on Amazon. So there's sci-fi films of the 70s, which I see is up there. Eaten Alive at a Chainsaw Massacre.
And I noticed the picture there is one of my favorite shows, Zardoz.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I love the 70s.
Yep.
Right. Give me Soylent Green, cool. Give me Zardoz, give me Silent Running. Those are the films I want. That's give me Logan's Run. That's the book that covers all those movies. Oh my gosh, I love Kolchak the Night Stalker. I think I blogged the whole series on my blog. So if you go back and check by the labels, you might find a bunch of Night Stalker episode reviews there. I know I blogged the whole Logan's Run series. I blogged the Fantastic Journey. I even blogged Man from Atlantis. So
that was a good show. Did you ever read the book by Patrick Duffy?
I didn't.
He has a book that continues the series.
Oh, wow. So I was so excited when the Warner Archive, I don't know, maybe this was 7-8 years ago, they released the original telefilms and then all the episodes. And I thought, I'm going to sit down and watch all these and review all of them and blog all of them. So they're all there. I've even blogged all of the Star Lost, that Canadian sci-fi series from 1973. Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just will pick a cult series and go to town. And, so that's all at my blog. You can find me on Twitter at JK Muir. I'm on Facebook as John Kenneth Muir, and I would love to, meet more of your audience. And I'll say this: I know when there's so much franchise stuff out there for everybody to consume, it's hard to take a chance on a new little indie production like Enter the House Between. So, but I will say this because we've been featured on Nerd Alert News and Sci-Fi Pulse and Casturberus, things like that. But if you go and you listen to the first episode of Enter the House Between, I swear you'll be hooked, and then you'll have 8 more great episodes to hear before our 9th episode and season finale drops on October 18th.
Oh boy! All right. Well, John,
So
thank
please
you
give it a
very,
try.
very much. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
In the future, John, maybe we could work something out where you could bring one of your I don't know, one of the actors maybe, or
I
somebody
would love that.
and we could just do like like half a segment just on that production, and it'd be kind of cool to just get into that. I know that I'll tell you this much: I know Tipsy Toaster is very big into the radio dramas,
Oh,
so I
yes.
think we could have
Okay.
some fun with that.
Well, please, anytime you just holler, I'll round up some cast members and we'll be here in a heartbeat.
Oh,
Cool.
outstanding. Woo. John, thank you very, very much for taking the time out. We
Thank
had a
you.
lot of fun, and we look forward to having you come back. This is the kind of stuff that we thrive on. I know that the fans love this type of discussion, and like I mentioned before, being that you're a fan, it brings another quality to everything that you do,
Definitely.
and we really enjoy that. So thank you very much, Chris.
Well,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah,
And
you,
I just want to say right back at you.
yeah, it's great to, it's for the fans, and if you are fueling the fleet, you're fueling fans as well. So, here's to you. So, as
And
fans fuel the fleet.
Here's to you. All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
John.
much.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing this broadcast on the Celestra or the Rising Sun, the Rising Star. Right? Okay.
Right,
All
get
right,
your
everybody.
get your ducats first, but so you can get there.
Okay, sounds good. All right, my friends. Thank you for a lovely evening.
Yeah, take
Thank
care.
you, John. Appreciate it.
Take
That
care.
was really, really cool. Oh boy, I'm looking forward to having John back on. And then we can do a real deep dive into what he's doing now with the radio show, and then we could also explore more of the Galactica.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's done all the episodes and the book itself. It's been a while since I read it. However, you and I, when we first started IFB, we talked about
Yes.
the book, and we
It was
actually
this one and the one that was maroon. I can't remember that one. It was
that's right. That's the other one.
it was a maroon cover. It was
Yeah,
I think it was the
that's right.
analytical. I think it was just another cover for the analytical guide to the Battlestar Galactica.
No. There's
No, it was
another one.
different.
There is another one.
It's
Yeah, and we
over
did
my
talk about
shelf.
it, and
I'll have to go look at it.
we quoted from it, and
Yeah.
oh yeah, this would be really, really cool. Lola says great interview with John. Absolutely agreed. Mike DeBrune, I thought it was the Zardos helmet that was the lucky talisman all the Ilios pilots touched in the flight.
it kinda
Before
looked
the
like
Stranded
it.
Warrior
That was-
teaser.
It was a little bit of a throw to it, but yes.
A little bit. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
it
right.
was a little bit of a throw,
Oh.
but yeah, it's one of my
Yes.
favorite. Zardoz is always one of my favorite 70s sci-fi, but it's come on, it's Sean Connery. Come on, it's got to be good, right?
Oh, it's great.
But if you
Mike-
haven't seen it, check that one out too. So it's
for
a
sure.
great throwback, and where they get the name Zardoz is just when they reveal that piece of it. It's just you're like, what?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's good. You and I have been going back and forth for a while now, but there was another comment I saw Mike DeBrune put up: Hotel Pennsylvania, New York City, OG convention location. That was the home of creation conventions.
Yep.
And Mike and I had been to several conventions together there back in the day. So I wear the Sean Connery mankini in this Texas heat. Okay, now
Oh, there's a
can't get
visual.
that image out of my
There's a
head.
visual we didn't need.
Oh boy, but I don't know, Chris. It's really cool. Thank you, John. John
Yep.
won Thank you for getting John, Professor John Kenneth Muir,
Yes.
on the show tonight, and fantastic guest. And looking forward to having him back again. So cool, and he's so
Yeah, he's
knowledgeable.
one of those guests that it's got so much more to offer that we'll have to bring him back. So
Yeah, we could. I mean, we before we came on, we were talking about how long he could stay. So that today there was a window,
mhm.
and luckily we got him for the amount of time that we could, and we're so
Yep.
honored and grateful. But next time, I think we're gonna have him on for longer. We're gonna try
Yeah.
to have him on, hopefully with some of his either the other
It kind of
above the line or
it'd be
below
kind
the
of fun to
line.
have just like a miniature. Maybe he could write up a miniature like play or something that we could actually do on the air.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I will coordinate.
Yeah, we'll get
He's
with
got
him.
some.
See if we can do
Yeah, we'll
something.
get with him, and we'll
'Cause we always
look at
talked
the
about
blog.
doing read-throughs of scripts and things like that, but we've
Yes,
always been concerned in regards to copyright violations.
yes, copyright
Yeah,
stuff. But well, now we have our own. So
yeah,
I'm sure that at some point, you and I will discuss a little bit about our script for the Stranded Warrior,
yep.
and we can maybe pull
Well, we're
some of
gonna
it
have
at
to
some
probably,
point.
unless we get, I don't know if
So we'll
part
talk
two.
about.
I was gonna, well, yeah,
We could do that. We
yeah,
could
we can
do
read part
the
two because we have
what we
written part two.
envisioned.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can the envisioned part two of the Stranded Warrior. We could definitely do that. It's
hmm,
written out. It was scripted, so we could definitely get some of our talent and have it come on. I think we'll have a really really good time with that. So
yes,
you know what? Let's put a pin in that, Chris,
yeah,
and
that would be
we'll come
really
back to
fun.
that. I wanted to again just thank everybody. I looked at the numbers on the teaser. It's 19,000 views. So just want to thank everybody that
If it had been 10 views, I'd still be happy because we had such a
yeah.
good time doing it, and
Oh yeah.
it's
I mean,
important that we throw it out there.
the music
Yeah,
alone. I
yeah,
mean,
the
it's just
musical,
like
yeah.
wow, yeah. Dorian Keys did that for us, and he's working on the
You know,
rest. So
I think
thank
we
you.
did have a one or two people come back and go, well, with a budget like that, you should have been better. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. Right, then do your own, okay?
Well,
Um,
yeah, absolutely, and we invite you to. We
please,
want you to. We want
yeah,
as many as you can. I know
yeah,
that Mike Goodrow is working on something right now.
right.
He's going to be doing another fan film. He did one, and he was
There we have plenty
gracious
of
enough.
costumes.
Yep, he came.
If you
He
want to
came
borrow,
to ours. He drove out to New York City. He was
yep.
in ours and supported, and so I mean, it's really really cool. And let's see, we are. Well, New York Comic Con is coming
Yep.
up,
So yeah, that's
Chris.
our next is next weekend will be New York Comic Con. We'll have a
Yep,
broadcast on Thursday, and then I will drive up on Friday,
yep,
and we will do Friday and
and
Saturday, and then I'll
Saturday.
drive back on Sunday. And
Yep.
it's New York Comic Con. It's always something going on there. Um,
Yes.
but now Pete knows what I mean when I say Dragon Con. So I've always compared, he's like, New York Comic Con is the best. It's always, and then we went to New York, and then we went to Dragon Con. They're two separate animals. New York Comic Con is great. It is cool, but the when you go to the Comic Con circuit, there are Comic Cons that are fan driven or
Yes.
fan produced, and there are Comic Cons that are network
Commercial.
produced, commercial produced, and
Yeah.
those that you got to get the idea of seeing both of those. And we've been to New York Comic Con before, and then Pete this year was the first time for Dragon Con, so we got to see a fan produced
Yeah.
one. So.
It's yeah. So it's by
And we're still
far.
pushing. Hey, if anybody out there can get us into San Diego,
Bingo.
yeah, let us know,
We would
because
love
that's one of our bucket list things that we want to get to is San Diego Comic Con,
San Diego Comic Con
just so we can say we've been there.
and
But
compare it.
and
Right, we want to
compare
compare it to what it's like. I mean, so we've done the big two. Dragon
Yep.
Con and New York Comic Con are definitely the big two, separated by the fact that, like you said, one is fan run and the other one is commercial run.
Right.
However, San Diego Comic Con has this reputation I don't
of
know
being the con. So
of being
I would
the
love to go there and find out if
and
it
see.
really is.
Yeah. I don't know, Chris. I don't know anymore, but
Yeah.
I have high expectations. I'm not sure, but going to Dragon Con, man, that was incredible. So yeah, we definitely have to get to San Diego one of these days. But New
Yeah.
York City is
Anybody's got
coming up,
any
and
hookups, let us know. We'll
that's
definitely
right.
like to go.
Oh yeah. And we are just working on Stranded Warrior, right, Chris? We
Yep.
want to let's thank our audio engineer. We want to let him know that we
Yeah,
appreciate his work.
Carrick, K-E-R-I-C-K, Carrick Ford. I forgot his company's name. We need to get him on. So yeah, I'll send
We should just
thing out to him. Just talk about, we've always talked to a lot of people behind the scenes, and that's somebody we haven't talked to before. I mean, he not that he's done movies, but he has done mixing on different things. So it would be interesting to talk to somebody about
very cool to have
what
him
it what it is to be an audio engineer that's gone to school for this stuff, and it'd be kind of cool to talk to him.
So that would be cool. And so we have the audio tracks have been professionally worked on for the Stranded Warrior. Scrubbed and fixed.
All the creakings and poppings and
all that's
and then
gone.
all of the audio was leveled out, so everybody's talking at the same level. So we can now go from there. So
now and again, we want to thank our CG team for doing the work that they've done.
We're getting ready to give them a lot more work here shortly.
Oh yeah.
So stand by. Chuck.
Also wanted to mention that all of you that helped on the Kickstarter, all the special thank yous are up on IMDb. And what that means is that all of you will be credited in the final film. Your names will appear in the final credits. So you are now officially in the IMDb. And they put them up alphabetically, so I don't have control over that. But your names are all there, and we just want to again thank you for supporting. So that part of it is all done, and thanks, guys. There's a couple other names that obviously will be going up on the IMDb. So if you get a chance, please take a look at that. You'll see that your names are there. So thank you very, very much. And I'm not sure. Chris, I did want to show this off. I don't know.
You
Chris,
got one
of these? I got one.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
Cult of the White Worm. I picked it up on Amazon.
1. Yep.
Yeah. And this is from our good friend Chris McCauley, and we're gonna have him back again soon. But I just thought that'd be just real quick. This is really something. If you're into anything like this, guys, this is incredible. So I just picked that up, and just good stuff. Chris, I am sometimes pleasantly surprised and beyond on our community and the work that John One does, that Tara does, that Michaela does, that everybody does for us collectively, right? So whether it be the Stranded Warrior or specifically IFB, but they've kind of blended one into the other, and I'm just very, very grateful because sometimes it works, right? We make it work. So, whether we have a minor glitch or a bigger glitch, in the end, I think we've been on now for 4 seasons, and I think we know how to handle these things
strong.
well.
We have no plans of have plans of moving on, so we keep going.
Right. So just I'm very humbled, especially when we get a great guest like the one that we got, who's a fan. And some of these others that we've had, especially I'd say in the last our last year and beyond. But some of the guests are just they're just so incredible, and I want to just thank everybody out there that watches and supports. And John One is our production coordinator, and he goes out of his way. And so John, again, thanks for doing what you do, and look forward to meeting up with John One at New York Comic Con. And any of you that are going to New York Comic Con, please let us know so we can meet up with you.
Yeah,
we'd love to
meet up with you.
Yeah. And then of course, Chiller Theater Convention. I'll be going with John One and meeting up with Professor Patton, and we will be visiting Larry Minetti and getting some autographs.
That's cool.
So
I'd love to have met him.
Yeah. So I'll make sure I get you
Should
an
get me an
autograph, Chris.
autograph for him.
Yep. Yep. Not a
'Cause
problem.
we did a recording from him.
Yes.
Yeah, Cameo.
Yes.
A thing called Cameo. He did a recording for us when we went to.
Yes, he did. So it's up there. It's in our
Yeah.
archive. You can see it on our Facebook. It's up there.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance, you want to see it.
Quite the
So-
firecracker, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I don't know. I'm planning next year's Dragon Con. Yeah, so I mean, John won, and a lot of the crew that went. Everybody's looking forward to. Gotta go, chaps. Have a fantastic weekend. You do the same, Baz. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. All of you guys, whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook or even the Twitch, wherever you're watching. Thank you so much. And Chris,
check us out. YouTube,
Yeah.
Facebook. Make sure you hit. If you go in and just check to make sure you've been invited, more than likely, check and see if you're following. It would help us out quite a bit. So just go into your Facebook and look up at the top when you look up IFB and make sure you have the following icon. I think it turns blue when you check it or something. So
yeah, and don't forget to give us the likes also, guys.
Yeah.
That's very helpful. Please go and when you're done, please also like. It's important
like the video,
for the
yep.
numbers and stuff. Yeah, but we have over 10,000 of you that are supporting, and we're very, very
Amazing.
grateful.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, it's just yeah, thank you. And the 19,000 that have viewed the trailer, man, is really humbling. But thank you to all of you. And so
Yep. So it's at that time of the night again. So we really appreciate you coming out. And once again, we'll see you next week, Thursday. Same bat channel, same bat place. As Pete likes to say, the DC Comics. He's a big Batman person. But me, whenever we get back in area to Earth, so I can destroy it. The Cylons will be back. The base star will be rolling around, and we will catch you next Thursday when we're close by. Maybe we'll get to destroy Earth this time. I'm not sure. But anyways, thank you so much. It's you that are the important thing, and because fans do fuel the fleet. So here's to you guys.
here's to you
Take
guys.
care.
Thanks a lot. Take care.